We are back, and we are back early on a Wednesday for once as we are getting into the holiday spirit. Next week is Thanksgiving. Next week is my birthday, too. So tomorrow is my Friday, and I will not be at work until December 1st. And a great way to go into the bye week with a winning streak, Jordan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you put bye week blues here in the title, but it's not really blues.
Well,
Not only do you have a 2-game winning streak, but you've won 3 out of 4. So the kind of change that we talked about that was possible and what we wanted to see is finally starting to happen. It's going to be a matter of can you get through the next 2, and then what do the last 4 look like?
Yeah. And to go along with the bye week and the winning streak, we have quietly won 3 of 4. So before we get into the Washington game, the Madrid game, whatever you want to call it.
Wouldn't it be? It would be the Miami game, right?
Yeah, or the Miami game. How are you feeling about this team right now? Because I believe I messaged you during the Washington game and was like, it's weird. We're not scoring, but I don't think we're playing bad.
We're not playing bad compared to the way we've been playing. I think a couple things have changed. I think Devon E10 has gone from being a very, very good running back to being one of the top 4 running backs in the NFL. I think that's happened over the last couple of weeks. I think that although he's still making them and there's a couple head scratchers, I think over the last couple of weeks, Tua hasn't made the real back-breaking throw. Like there have been some bad ones. There hasn't been like oh, God, that kills you. The defense is obviously playing better. I think that jumps off the screen. I haven't looked at the exact numbers, but I'm assuming that we're in the top half of defenses over the last couple of weeks, if not higher. And yeah, you're going to have some lapses like the Mariota run. But this team for 3 of the last 4 weeks did what they weren't able to do early in the season, which is just simply find ways to win. And in this league, that's very important. It's very important to be able down the stretch, no matter what it looks like, to be able to find ways to win.
Yeah. I think that Mariota run really showed us why Willie Gay's not getting more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He misread that and ran
wrong.
Blocker. Yeah. He has his role, and he probably should have got more time, though I will say as well, Terrell Dodson, even though he had a sack, didn't have a good game either. I thought a lot of the big plays Washington got were him picking the wrong gap to fill.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah. Oh, and that's fine. And the other thing we're slowly starting to see is the offensive line isn't the eyesore it was.
No.
Cole Strange still had some bad plays. Alf of 3 yards per carry did do a breakdown of the 1 3rd down attempt right before the 4th down we didn't get, which in the moment, we'll get into that in a second, but that just stunned me. But it was great play. The route was there, and Cole Strange just couldn't hold his block long enough, or at all, really, if we want to be honest. And it really cost us a chance at a touchdown right there.
Yeah, but they're playing better. And I think that to that point, with Ozzie saying that the defense sucked, you gave up 13 points in an NFL game. Yeah. Like, I don't – at the end of the day, like, yeah, every team is going to have points throughout the game where the defense is going to make mistakes, and these are NFL offenses. So they're going to make plays, even if it's Marcus Mariota. I mean, there's a reason he was a number 2 pick, and Chris Rodriguez is not a bad running back, and Croxy Merritt has turned into their 3rd running back at this point. And so, but to Ozzie's last point, I don't think yards really matter. Yeah. This is a points league.
Yeah,
and you held them to 13 points, and you take that you put the offense in a position to win. There was a lot of bending, but not a lot of breaking. And you take that and you move on to the next 2 games.
Yep. Ozzie, I will agree with you that the impact plays still aren't there defensively, although Jack Jones did come up with that impact play. And by all accounts, he called that in the huddle.
Yes, he did. Game ball for Jack Jones.
Yeah. But at the end, look, towards the end of look at the Patriots dynasty. Towards the end of it, they were giving up yards. People could move on the Patriots, but they couldn't score. And at the end of the day, Jordan said, points matter. Now we could be having a different conversation if we lost. Let's be honest, even then. But
I think if we would have lost 16-13, I think we'd be having a different conversation right now about Mike McDaniel and his decisions late. But I do want to say on the Jack Jones front, you and I talk about all the time that Jack Jones is a boomer bust guy. Jack Jones is not the typical guy you look for in this scheme, which is just do your job. He's a boomer bust guy, and that was the type of moment that he booms in. So that was a huge play of the season. We'll probably get him in a camp next year with that play, and I think it was great for him and great for the team to be able to come out of there with a win.
Yeah, and that is after he had probably the worst pass interference call I've ever seen against him, where he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But
did you watch what was the game the other night that I watched? That there was was it the where was the horrible pass interference call? Was it the Eagles game?
Yes.
At the end of the Eagles game? Now that was a bad pass interference call. That was horrible against the Lions.
Yeah. No, that was bad. Let's be honest, and this is a conversation we have every year. Until the refs are made full-time, you're going to have issues with consistency.
I just don't understand why. In basketball, you can do it. And now in baseball, you're starting to see you can do it. You should be able to challenge flags. And the ref goes back and look at no different than a hand foul in the NBA. No different than a hand check, no different than a blocking foul. Those are referees' discretion. And you can go back and look at them and you see it on tape. Like, you should be able to go and see that there was no illegal contact. There's no reason that you can't.
Yeah, I think it just all goes back to when they were reviewing pass interference a couple years ago, and they realized it just, one, slows the game down, but also it just...
Why are we all in a rush? Why do we all want to slow the games down? Like, let's get it right.
Yeah, I think the other issue is it became too much of an issue where we're stopping for everything and you can literally call pass interference on every play. But I do think challenging, if it's called, is not a bad decision.
Right. No, I think that if there's a no call, there shouldn't be, like, I'm okay with you not being able to. But if it is a penalty, and 15 yards is such a big penalty, a spot foul on a deep ball, that's game changing. And I think to be able to just have the referees control that and have it not be looked at throughout the game when you have so much other micromanaging that's going on and there's so much money on the line. I wouldn't mind if some sort of replay assist helped.
Yeah, go to college and get the expedited reviews. I don't think we have that in the NFL unless it's a scoring play.
I think they do for scoring and for first downs, I believe.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think you saw all three rookie defensive linemen had a good game. Like I mentioned earlier, offensive line isn't the sore spot. Jonah, he's still not there yet, but you're starting to see the talent. Larry Borum had a really good game. My PFF is very subjective, and we have our complaints about PFF, but they had Larry Borum rated as the #1 run blocking offensive lineman in the NFL this past weekend.
I wonder, Brett, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and I'm more interested to hear Coach Smith's thoughts on the next time we have him on. If when Austin Jackson comes back, I'm assuming he's going to slide back into that right tackle slot because we need to see what we have there. But I wonder if Larry Borum can play kind of that Dan Brunskill sixth offensive lineman role.
I think he could. I know
he's bigger.
He is bigger, and I know Coach Eric has said if he had a choice of replacing anybody on the offensive line right now, it would be Cole Strange. But even with all of Cole Strange's struggles, hats off to him. Our biggest runs came behind him and Borum. So you got to give credit where credit is due.
I feel like I'm always biased to guys I liked in the draft.
Yeah, we all
And so when I see us sign a guy like Cole Strange, I'm like, oh, I liked him coming out. Like, I like him here. There are a couple guys like that on the team.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a couple guys like that on a team. You can see it in the fan base, see how everybody is freaking out every time Tyler Warren makes a catch.
But you
Although,
know what the thing is? I don't know if because Indy got off to such a hot start. I don't know if Tyler Warren would be looked at as highly if he was in Miami. If the situation was reversed and the Colts were standing out and the Dolphins were still getting gashed run defensively, fans would be talking about, oh, Kenneth Grant was right there. And yeah, Tyler Warren's nice, but you could have gotten a guy that could have helped the defense. And so I think that it's all yes. I think I would have loved to have Tyler Warren. I think I said some words I probably shouldn't have said when we didn't take Tyler Warren, but Kenneth Grant is showing some signs.
yeah, no, he's slowly getting there. Um, I believe I saw of all the rookies, the only rookie who, again, PFF, so grain of salt, the only rookie who is not seeing their score go up every week right now is Ollie Gordon. And I think that's also just as much situational because the last
Yeah,
couple weeks when Ollie Gordon has gotten in before this past weekend, the blocking wouldn't be good, or there were more defenders shooting gaps. So there was a lot of negative plays that weren't there early in the year.
for sure. I do think Tyler would have been nice on those. I also think I was thinking about this the other day. We're one of the only teams that doesn't have a tush push guy. And I would like to see somebody be able to get under center and get that half a yard. And Tyler's kind of that guy. So I was thinking about it. I wonder if Dulcich could be that guy. I don't know. But yeah, Hayden Rookie could be that guy. But that's something that you and I know, as we talk about drafts, present and future, we look for some of those physical guys that could do those extra roles,
Yeah.
especially when you have a quarterback like Tua that himself, he says that he's not great in those situations.
Yeah. And I think it's important to remember this. And I'm not taking anything away from Tyler Warren because he is having a good year, really good year. But he is coming back to the pack when it comes to the rookie tight ends.
Yes.
Now, part of that is also Colston Loveland having a big week 2 weeks ago. I think what he have like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a couple big weeks in a row there.
So you have that. Elijah Arroyo had a big game. So I don't want to say he was overrated because that has too many negative connotations. But I think it's proof you can not only not judge a rookie their first couple months in the NFL, you really got to see how they develop, not just week to week, but year to year. So we'll have a better idea. Because Kenneth Grant, he was dominant on Sunday, but he has been a plus defender last couple weeks. I'd say about a month. Jordan Phillips has been too. But when you play a position like D tackle, which isn't always glamorous, and you're not getting the sack numbers, let's be honest, their job is to take up blocks. But we're talking about how great Jordan Brooks is, defensive player of the week. I don't know if you saw, he just got named that this week.
Awesome.
Absolutely
Deservedly so.
Yeah. But Coach Weaver and Coach McDaniel all talked about how Jordan Phillips and Kenneth Grant are making his life easier. So it's some of the unseen things that don't stop on the stat sheet that I think a lot of fans do take for granted, even analysts, but analysts are there to make hot takes. So you don't always appreciate what those rookies do. But when you're struggling, you absolutely notice. So, yes, when we are getting gashed for 6-7 yards a carry, they deserve criticism, but you have to bring it back. But I do think sometimes it's easier to ignore that if you're not a fan of those players.
Yeah, I mean, there are a ton of situations where they do the job of filling the lane, and we talk about it all the time. Dodson, how many times this season has Dodson completely just taken the wrong gap?
Yeah,
and it looks but it could, we don't know. It could be Grant or Phillips or even Biggers moving somebody the wrong way. But I'm thinking it's more of Dodson kind of guessing and trying to kind of freelance out there and not hitting the gap he's supposed to hit. We talked about it when we drafted Grant. We said he's a guy that's not going to look as pretty on the stat sheet as he's going to look on the field. And I think him and Jonah are both guys, to me, and I said this about Chop and Patrick Paul, is they're guys that are going to be better in year 2 than in year 1. And they're not fully developed players yet. I think they're going to take a little bit to get where they're going.
Yeah. Now, in fairness to even to Jonah, he is not where we thought he'd be. He's
correct.
Definitely got it.
He's not where we thought he'd be, but he's trending up.
Yes. And speaking of Jonah, we get to 2K likes. You guys will get to see me do a hockey on a stream.
A hockey?
Haka,
oh,
sorry.
Brett.
It's a Haka, sorry. I've got multiple things going on right now. So
Brett's gonna do a hockey, guys. Oh boy.
A hockey, yeah.
We're off to a great start.
Well, we're 16 minutes in. A Haka. Yes. Sorry, guys. I'm also kind of looking at work stuff and looking at a bunch of stuff. I've got a bunch going on. So this
I didn't think people would be so unhappy that we decided to go in the middle of the day.
Who knows? But
we're trying different things. You could always, as a reminder, and we'll remind you at the end, you could always watch it on YouTube. You can watch it back on X. So there are a number of different ways to watch us, even when we go off.
Yep.
Yeah, we're really close on.
We are almost there. So thank you.
And to think that Brett could have gotten out of it just by saying he would have done it if we would have beat the Ravens? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And it would have been over. We didn't beat the Ravens. It would have been over. But Brett said, you know what? I'll do it if we get to 2,000.
Yeah. Give people.
Are you going to do it shirtless?
No, I'm not going to do it shirtless.
Okay.
I am not doing that shirtless. Let's get to a point.
We're only 31 followers away. I want to see. I wonder if Mr. S can use some connections and get Jonah on while you do the Haka to rate your Haka.
That would be pretty entertaining.
Or like an actual person of Samoan descent, and we want to make it clear that we are doing this in support. This is not
legitimately, not gonna lie. You saying that during my lunch, I did reach out to see if there was any Haka instructors in my area to see if they can teach me to do it.
How long do you have to cash the bet?
I don't know. Of course, the other part of the bet is I said I would dye my hair green. So I just got to see, because I've got some stuff with work going on. So I got to plan around that, because I don't want to be going to big meetings with any Joker hair going on right there.
In all seriousness, and this is a little behind the bit on the air, can you take like easy washout? I don't know how that works. I've never used hair dye. But is there a hair dye that you can put in that'll pretty much wash out right away?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Finding the color is the hard part. But, yeah, I can. I'm
sure there's somebody out there that can find you green hair.
Yeah. The issue I have is my hair is really thick. So sometimes it just that causes an issue. But
what about a silly green wig? What about that? Would that be a better?
I'll dye my hair, but I would get so much shit after making a promise. But I will dye the hair. It's just working around work schedule, because I work in the corporate world a little bit. So I gotta maintain a professional appearance, which for me is hard. If anybody who knows me, I do not like dressing up or doing anything like that, but sometimes I got to do it. But anyway, away from my hair and doing a Haka, I want to go back to the game on Sunday real quick. And the emotions in the last minute of regulation were odd for me, because I was saying just take the points, do not overcomplicate things. We went for it. I actually didn't have a problem with the play call, because at the end of the day, if you can't get 1 yard on the ground, you're not winning as it gets colder. That's just the truth. So I have no problem with that. the first fourth down we missed early in the game was just a great play by Bobby Wagner. But
Bobby Wagner still got it, huh?
He does. But
He's still got it.
yeah, he absolutely does. But when you're in that situation where you need short yardages, I would rather just say, you got to beat us. And this is something we'll get to in a second, but this is growth from Mike McDaniel, who in the past has been a very, very bad short yardage coach. And we do have one of the best short yardage offenses in the NFL. Going into the game, that we went 1 for 3.
Yeah, the announcer jinxed us.
But we were
He
13
jinxed
for
the hell out of
13.
us. He kept saying we were 13 for 13.
With 13 touchdowns. So we've become really good at that. So I had no problem with the actual play call. But I wasn't even mad when we missed it. I was just stunned we just didn't go for the points. But as was discussed, and the more I thought about it, we can take this approach because we won. The difference you make, you score a field, you get a field goal, and you got to remember the clock stopped because of E10 getting hurt. You kick the field goal. The Commanders just had, like a minute left, and they just had to get in field goal range. Whereas you miss, they have to go the length of the field with no touchdowns. Now, they almost did it, or timeouts. They almost did it, but analytics support the idea. But, man, I was like going from, Mike is becoming such a better situational coach. He's got this team playing to – and then Mike also called timeouts on the drive, which –
That I'll get to that too.
But, man, I went from he's on the up to, man, he just got himself fired to, all right, it looks like we are going to be, let's be honest, Mike's probably going to be here next year, and I would say he's earned that right.
Yes, I do too. I am of team kick the field goal. I think there were a couple mistakes. I think that you got down there and you got ultra conservative. And it was not even a let's send somebody in motion like we do every play. It seemed to just be a run up the middle. And I don't know. I would have liked a little jet motion. I would have liked maybe a sweep, get one of these fast guys on the outside. I mean, you put the ball back into his hands. You talk about it all the time, Brett. You're paying him $55 million. And I'm going to say it. Well, we will say it. How about this? If we get to 6 and 7, we'll do the 6-7. How about that?
Okay.
That I think that's what Ozzy wants from us. But I think that there was that mistake. I think that there was the mistake of not going forward at the goal line. And then on the ensuing drive, when Washington got the ball back, it seemed like Washington was content running the ball and going into overtime with kind of the way they were calling that. And Mike goes and calls 2 timeouts. And I think that us giving up that first down, that I think once you didn't get the field goal, or why didn't you if you didn't once at the goal line get it in, and when you didn't score there and you gave the ball back, I think at that point you should have just been trying to get to the end of regulation. I don't think you should have been trying with only 2 timeouts to get one of those there. I think you had to just try to get to overtime and win it there. I think they played with fire a little bit and got lucky to get out of it.
Yeah. Ozzy, we want to root against, I'm pretty sure, Pittsburgh, because I think Ravens are winning out, I think, so not even worth. We want to root against the
Funny Chargers. How a team barely wins at Buffalo, and you're like, oh, they're winning out.
Yeah. Well, they won't barely beat Cleveland, but still.
I mean, Cleveland. That's what I mean.
Yeah. But, no. I think they're winning out, and as we know, road division rival games are always going to be tough. And AFC North probably has the best rivalries when it comes to all the teams in the NFL. No disrespect to our rivals in the AFC East, but the AFC North, there's a hatred there between all the teams. It doesn't matter how bad one team is or any of those teams are or how good they are. They're always going to play each other super tough.
Yeah. So right now you have, I think the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Colts are all winning their divisions.
Yes.
I think that the Bills are making it as a wild card.
Yep.
The Ravens are currently a game back of the Steelers, so I think the Ravens.
No dinosaur.
So the Ravens are going to jump them and kind of get that 4th seed. Like I said, Buffalo is locked into one of those wild card spots. And then you have 2 spots right now that are occupied by the Chargers and the Jaguars. And then you'll also have the Steelers tied there because the Steelers, we say, are going to lose that division. So you have the Steelers, the Jaguars, and the Chargers, all with 4 losses that we need to jump 2 of. And then you have the Texans and the Chiefs in between us and them left.
Yeah.
I think
and
the Texans.
You would bet on the Chiefs figuring it out.
Say it again.
You would bet on the Chiefs figuring it out.
So the Chiefs, here's the Chiefs schedule the rest of the way. You ready?
Yep.
Home against the Colts. You'd say win or loss?
I'll say win.
Are you writing this down?
No.
Okay. Then 4 days later on Thanksgiving at the Cowboys.
Loss.
Home against the Texans.
Win.
That's a big game I'm glad those 2 teams play. Home against the Chargers.
Win.
At the Titans.
Win.
Home against the Broncos. Week 16 on Christmas night.
I'm going to say loss.
And then at the Raiders, week 17.
Win.
So you have them finishing 9-8.
Yes.
So essentially, in order for the Dolphins to make the playoffs, you feel, based on that prediction, that if we win out, we get in.
Yeah. 10 wins traditionally gets you in. And let's be honest, and we should know this as Dolphin fans, that it doesn't matter how good you look the first 2.5 months. How are we feeling a couple of years ago? Going into that Black Friday game against the Jets, we were riding high and we still won that game, but then the wheels fell off. Injuries happened all over the team, and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of who. I'll say that the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we play, they are a very Jekyll and Hyde team. They are not getting what a lot of people said they would from Jonnu or Jalen Ramsey. And their defense goes as TJ Watt goes. So
right, you know what I'm afraid of?
What are you afraid of?
You tell me we play Pittsburgh in, 4 weeks now that we play them with the bye added in. I'm worried about a night game against Mason Rudolph. I'm more worried about playing Mason Rudolph than Aaron Rodgers. I'll say it.
That's fair. Mason Rudolph, he is not a starter, but I don't know if I'd go as far as to say he is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL, but he has proven that when he is called upon, he will not make mistakes.
All right, Brett, here's the Steelers' schedule the rest of the way.
Okay.
I want you to just track how many losses you have them having.
Okay.
They play at the Bears with an injured Rodgers.
I'm going to say a loss.
They play the Bills at home.
Loss.
They play at the Ravens. God,
Loss.
that's a hard schedule. At the Ravens.
Loss.
So they're 6-7 now. They're tied with us. So that would put them 6-7 with us 6-7 going into that December 15th game.
Yeah. I think they'll lose to us.
Home against the Dolphins.
Loss.
At the Lions. This is brutal.
Loss.
At the Browns, having lost now 6 in a row.
Win.
And then home against the Ravens.
Loss.
So you have them with
1 win.
You have them finishing 7-10.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and the joke there is the Steelers do not finish below 500, but it just, again, everybody knows I live in Pennsylvania. I see all the Steeler games. Even when they win, it is so ugly that you can't tempt fate that many times. You can't take for granted a win, but when you're tempting fate as much as they do, it does bite you in the ass eventually.
Yes. And I also feel that they kind of look like a team a little bit that the wheels could fall off, and they have a brutal last stretch of the season. Like that was a brutal schedule that I read.
Yes.
You're playing Chicago, Buffalo, Baltimore twice, the Lions, us, and at Cleveland in late December. Like they're going to be playing us with 4 wins in a row, 5 out of 6. Like that's a tough schedule. I don't know if there's a team that has a tougher schedule than the Steelers.
Okay. Bring up the Chargers real quick, per Ozzy's request.
Yeah, I actually had them here. They were the next one we were going to go to.
The Chargers,
Ozzy could start
they are beat up. The Chargers are beat up, and quietly, like Justin Herbert had under 100 yards on Sunday.
All right, here are the Chargers. They play. They have a bye this week with us.
Okay.
And then they play home against the Raiders.
I'll give them the win.
So that puts them at 8-4. That already puts them above where we have the Steelers finishing. Then they have a very tough stretch here. They play home against the Eagles on Monday Night Football.
That's a loss.
They play at the Chiefs.
Loss.
Did you give the Chiefs a loss against the Chargers, or you gave the Chiefs a win?
Win.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're staying consistent. At the Cowboys. Traveling to Dallas.
I'll say a loss.
Home against the Texans.
Win.
At the Broncos, week 17. God, that game might be for a lot. Or week 18, I'm sorry, at the Broncos.
So if things keep going how they are now, I do wonder if the Broncos rest their starters.
I agree. But if the game is to knock the Chargers out of the playoffs, the game could also be for the 1 seed.
Tentatively, I'm going to say a loss. But
so you had them with 2 wins?
Yes.
Which would put them at 9-8, which would put 10-7 ahead of them.
Yeah.
The other 2 are the Jaguars and the Texans. Let's run through that really quick.
Okay.
I love doing this. The Jaguars are at the Cardinals. Oh, this is – I wish we had this schedule. You ready? Oh. At the Cardinals.
See, that is – the Jaguars are another team that are so weird that it's tough. I will say a loss.
Okay. At the Titans.
That's a win.
Home against the Colts. They always win at home against the Colts.
Yeah.
Always, no matter how good the Colts are.
We'll do a win there.
Home against the Jets.
Win.
At the Broncos.
Loss.
At the Colts.
Oh, so they go Colts back to back. I say they'll split the Colts, so they'll win 1, lose 1.
Yeah, so they're 3-3. So that means they play home against the Titans in Week 18. They would be 9-7 going into that Week 18 game.
So I'm going to say they're going to lose, and this is why. Like every year with the AFC South, there's a team fighting for a playoff spot, and they finish with a shitty division rival, and the shitty division rival always wins. So I am going to say they're going to lose that final game and miss the playoffs.
Wow. And here are the Texans. We'll go through the Texans very quickly. Home against the Bills on Thursday night in a couple days, or tomorrow.
No CJ Stroud, right?
No CJ Stroud.
That's a loss.
At the Colts.
I'll say a win.
Win at the Colts.
Did I say the Colts would? No, we didn't do the Colts. Yeah, I'll say a win at the Colts.
At the Chiefs.
Loss.
Home against the Cardinals.
Win.
home against the Raiders.
Win.
You had them losing at the Chargers.
Yep.
And then you have the Colts. They would be 8-8 going into week 18 against the Colts.
I will say win because I think the Colts will rest people.
So, Brett, by your predictions, if the Dolphins win out, they make the playoffs.
Yes. I do believe that too.
It's crazy that we just did that after we literally talked about head coaches 4 weeks ago. We have a win out path. So, Brett, let me ask you. The Dolphins on air. Mr. S is going to clip this when we're done. Brett, will the Miami Dolphins beat the Saints?
Yes.
Will the Miami Dolphins win at the Jets?
Yes.
Will the Dolphins win at the Steelers?
Yes.
Will the Dolphins win at home against the Bengals?
Against the Bengals. Ooh.
It's a night game. And Burrow may be back.
Burrow's going to be. I'll say yes.
Against the Buccaneers at home the following week.
Right now, I'm going to say no.
And then at the Patriots week 18.
Yes, because I think the Patriots will be resting people.
Brett has the Dolphins finishing 9-8.
Yes.
I am not going to do the math to see if that would get us in.
It would not, based off of what we did. But I'll say this too. I could see the Dolphins easily winning out. I could see us losing out. I could see us going a combo. Yes. At the end of the day, I think for what we're going to be saying is, man, we shouldn't have lost to the Browns. We shouldn't have lost to the Panthers. We shouldn't have lost to the Patriots week 2, and we should have beat the Chargers. So those are games we all should have won, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, it's going to be a good next week of Dolphin talk, and it's also going to be a really fun next couple of weeks. I'm actually going to be at the Saints game. We're back alive, so I'm traveling home to go, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I do think it's going to be a fun last month of the season. Month, because we don't play the rest of November. So I think it's going to be a fun month of the season.
It's interesting, Brett. We talked about our Super Bowl predictions last week. This is more than I can remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, 1 week at a time.
This feels, and I'm going to comment on that in a second. This year feels a lot more wide open.
Yes.
Than in years past.
Yes.
And to Ozzy's point, if you could pull that back up, Brett, he said 1 week at a time. Yes, it is taking it 1 week at a time, 100%, which is why on next week's show, we will only talk about the Saints. However, because we're not playing this week, I think there can be a little bit of let's look ahead and map out kind of this last month and make predictions for this last month. We're also going to talk about the draft at some point. So it's a question of what needs to happen and is it possible for it to happen? But I do agree with you wholeheartedly that from a focus standpoint, yes, 1 week at a time.
Yeah. And Ozzy, to your point as well, even if you look at the Patriots who have looked good, I saw the meme. It's the Homer Simpson lost all his weight meme where it shows his record in the front, but then all his fat is behind him and it shows all the teams that they beat. Patriots have had a very easy schedule. Yes. So I'm not going to say they're going to fall apart, but gets a little harder on the back end.
Does it? So they play at the Bengals this week with no Joe Burrow.
Yeah, the Bengals have been, aside from this past weekend,
the Patriots are going to beat the Bengals. Then they'll beat the Giants.
Yeah.
And then they'll lose to the Bills and Ravens.
Yeah.
And then they'll beat the Jets and probably rest their starters against the Dolphins.
Yeah. But, anything can happen, as we talked about earlier. We don't know injuries that are going to come up. Rookies, as we saw, hit walls at different times too. we just had all our rookies start at the wall.
Yes.
So we'll go from there. Yeah, we were going to do a more extended draft preview, but we talked for 40 minutes. So, Jordan, we'll do a little abbreviated one. And this is what I mean by abbreviated. We'll get into more in depth either tomorrow, depending on our schedules, or next week. I'm off. Like I said, I'm off all next week. I'm taking the week off for my birthday. So I'm free whenever. Cool. Real quick, we are, as of right now, I believe, scheduled or at pick 11, if I remember correctly. So just if we're in that range, who would be your top 5 players for the Dolphins?
And let me look for a second, just so, because I have obviously my list here.
And to be clear, I will say this, everybody, if we get a top 10 pick, I'm all in on Caleb Downs. He is that level of player.
Yeah. So these aren't the top 5 players I want in the draft. These are kind of the top 5 if we're at 11, who's going to be available a little bit in that range.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So I will start, and this is in no particular order. Mansour Delane, corner from LSU. I think that he, and we'll get deeper into prospects this week or next week. But there are 2 corners that I look at and really like possibly for the Miami Dolphins. Carnell Tate is another guy in that range that I'm going to look at. The 2 tackles, Spencer Fano and Francis, how do you say his last name? Mauigoa?
I believe
from
so,
Miami. Yes. Spencer Fano from Utah. Francis from Miami. I think that the things that I like about them more than I like about Caden Proctor is that they're right tackle specific guys. And I think that that's where the Dolphins are going to have more of a need this season. The guy from Miami is also a guy that projects more as a guard. So I think that would be good too, as a right tackle or a right guard. Spencer Fano, I have ranked a little bit higher just because he projects as more of a tackle at that point. So I gave you 4. And then Avion Terrell. He's the brother of AJ Terrell, who plays for the Falcons. And he's the other corner that I really like there at kind of that range.
Yeah. Those are all good names, all people I would agree with. I'm going to try and be different and add some other names. Talking about corner, Jermad McCoy from Tennessee, right up there with Mansour Delane from everything I've seen. I think he fits perfectly what we want to do in the secondary. So I would look at him. Someone I'm a lot higher on than I think most people are right now is the Iowa offensive right tackle, Jennings Dunker. I think he will be a riser in the draft. He is, like I said, right tackle, road grader, pretty athletic, got a nasty streak. And I do think, aside from Patrick Paul, our offensive line kind of lacks a nasty streak still. So I would look at him. Denzel Boston, again, might be a little early, wide receiver from Washington, son of David Boston, who is technically a former Miami Dolphin. Don't think he ever caught a pass with us because of injuries. So there's those 3. As good as Jordan Brooks has been, he's going to be in a contract year. We got to try and extend him, but I think you need someone else next to him. In an ideal world, we could get Avril Reese from Ohio State. We are not getting Avril Reese. He is going to be a top 10 pick.
If not,
but higher. I would go. If not higher, yeah. But I would look at his teammate, Sonny Styles, who I think going into the season was more highly rated. So he is a very good one. And someone we had been talking about a lot early is Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle from Utah. I don't think we'll get him, but another guy we could get is his teammate and Caleb Lomu. And I will also, again, another year say, despite how we look, and I know this is more than 5, I would look at Kenyon Sadiq if we're in the.
Yeah, I'm not falling for the whole taking a tight end thing. I'm not falling for it until we do it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying we should look at it, and I definitely think he fits what we like to do offensively.
I agree.
Okay. I agree. So with that, we will call this early Wednesday edition of the list a close. We will, like I said, either tomorrow maybe Friday during the day or at some point next week, we'll do a little bit more of an extended look on the draft. And we will also look at the Saints game. And maybe Jordan will give us a little tailgate footage.
I can arrange that.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say to end it, if you have not been following the list on Twitter at the List Fins Pod, we are doing a Christmas card. We are adding
It is
everybody on
awesome.
Dolphins Twitter
It
who
is
wants to
awesome.
be added. So definitely make sure you go and look at it, provide a picture, and Mr. S, our admin, will get you on the card if you're not already on it. Please also, if you can, go to our YouTube channel, like the video, and subscribe. It does help us out greatly. And with that, we will see you all a little later.
Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the bye week.